Alright, so let's talk about Dragon Quest Treasures. This is a spin off set in the world of Dragon Quest. Instead of turn based battles in an epic long JRPG, you'll instead be spending your time here in real time battles, recruiting, and finding lots of treasures. So, is it worth playing? Let's get into the overall summary, going over a bit of the story, gameplay, and then my final thoughts on who I think should be picking this game up. Let's get into it. Dragon Quest Treasures was published and developed by Square Enix. It's available on the Nintendo Switch and is currently going for $59.99 US. I want to thank Square Enix for the review copy, however, all thoughts will be my own. Let's start with the story. Set in the Dragon Quest world, you take control of two young children who are twins, going by the name Erik and Mia. They are very outgoing and adventurous. They are orphans who have been picked up by some Vikings. One night, the Vikings' latest haul brings in two odd creatures who Erik and Mia end up setting free, and they're soon whisked away on a grand adventure. It seems they were destined to meet and soon obtained the mystical dragon daggers. Using these daggers, they gain powerful abilities for fighting and treasure hunting. Off to become treasure hunters, they end up creating a base of operations and learn about the land of Draconia and the legendary dragon stones, which they decide to search for. And that's pretty much the story. The gameplay in Dragon Quest Treasures, as you might have guessed from the title, is all about finding treasure. You'll primarily be exploring the islands in search of these dragon stones. To find them, you'll need the help of your monster recruits. As you find monsters, they sometimes will want to join you and send an application to your base. So, using either money or materials that they want, you can trade those in and they'll instantly become a part of your gang. You can have up to 3 monsters following you at once. They are controlled by AI and attack and use special skills automatically in combat. You have some basic commands such as go all out or group up. You yourself can also fight. You can attack with your dagger and catapults, which is kind of like your slingshot. You'll obtain and craft different shots for all sorts of situations. You got your basic damaging ones, elementals, heals, buffs, and even a buddy shot, which makes your defeated foes more likely to join you. Each monster has their own preference of the treasures they seek out and sense in the field. As you near potential hidden treasures, your monsters will give off a hint in the form of visions. This treasure sense shows you 3 images, all from the monster's point of view where the treasure is buried. So if you have a slime, it's a basic image. If you have a knight, you'll see through their helmet. And if it's a creature without sight, you might end up with a black and white, or even worse, a blank image. It's a nice little touch. Recruit monsters, upgrade your gang, do side quests, collect materials, and much more. This is pretty much Dragon Quest Treasures in a nutshell. So, how do I think about the game overall? What are some noteworthy things to point out, and is this game going to be worth your time and money? So, starting off, is this a good spin-off? Do the mechanics here work well? You know, going straight from a JRPG to this, it's not bad. It's really hard to go wrong with an open world game. As long as there's things to do in it, really awesome things to find and explore, you're gonna be fine. Luckily, Dragon Quest has no shortage of things, monsters all over the place, sometimes even rare ones, lots of materials to pick up. You're gonna be using them to sell things, craft things, use them to recruit. There's a lot going on here. Does it capture the Dragon Quest feel? Yeah, the models obviously look good, and they did really good bringing the sounds and music of the Dragon Quest games into here. When you when you attack monsters with, let's say, a fizz, which is like a fire attack, it makes that noise. When your monsters level up, everything was quiet and it does the little chime, from like even the first game. So there's a lot here that people, from Dragon Quest will know and, really like. It really has a huge, gigantic, lengthy tutorial. I think it was like an hour and a half to 2 hours or so. It's very slow, but after that, it gets, pretty open worldy. Lots of initial islands to explore, different biomes, and then later on, you're going to be unlocking these biomes. But they do a good job giving you a good sense of what the game's going to be like, finding all of these 7 dragon, it's Akira Toriyama with the artwork, right? So it's really hard to not make the comparison. Oh, 7 Dragon Balls, 7 Dragon Stones, that sort of thing. But yeah, lots of treasures, monsters in the world. You know, surprisingly, there was a lot to do here. Not only do you have to, find these dragon stones, but there's a lot of side quests to do, and they give you a ton. You go to NPCs and they give you fetch quests, maybe find this, recruit this monster, do a couple of these fights, etc. Maybe find some hidden quests, and there's also daily quests. So you get lots and lots of money. The treasures that you get, they range from like really rare stuff to just main quest stuff, and when you bring them back to your base, you can show them off in your vaults. Every once in a while, if you have a monster that really likes the treasure, they will polish it up for you, and you get even more higher rarities, and the value goes up, and the value actually goes towards your gang level. The higher gang level you have, it's kind of tied to like your story points. So they start you off. After the tutorial, you go do your own thing, and they're like, okay, get to level 4. So you go out, go to any biome you want, any monsters you want, find treasure. You come back, and when you appraise the treasure, sometimes it's like basic, oh, you found like a really nice, golden goblet. But then sometimes it's like, oh, it's a bikini. What's this from? and then you can read the little notes here. It's all Easter eggs. Like, oh, this is from Dragon Quest 5. This is from Dragon Quest, 11, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of fun little Easter eggs there. So it's tied to that. So it highly incentivizes running around, exploring, doing your own thing, and then after a while it'll just boom, it'll throw you, hey, you can do this monster, you can do this main quest now, and you go ahead and do that. But the combat, I do have to say, the exploration is probably one of the best points about the game, running around collecting. But the combat, it leaves a little bit to be desired. It's a little clunky now. It's not too serious. It's just like whenever you attack with your dagger, you have a huge amount of after attack lag. You're very planted when you do your things. You do have a roll, and I believe it is invincibility, frames and all that good stuff. But for the most part, I found myself like wanting to just control the monsters and let them do their own thing, even though they are they're not controllable. You have like your basic go attack them or come on back. As you attack and do stuff, you actually do get like a skill bar, like a focus bar, a hypermeter, whatever you want to say, and you can use it to tell a monster, hey, do your AoE attack. And you can do the same to yourself too. So there's a little bit of strategy there. I like when you pull out your catapult, it slows down time, or rather it pauses time, and you can choose between your different bullets. So you can really be a sort of commander of the field, like healing and letting them do their own thing. So there is some strategy there. But I think overall, you're fighting the main fighting. It's a little meh. It's not like the crazy, hardcore JRPG turn-based. There is a little strategy though. There is, if you really want to get into it. But for the most part, I'd say it's pretty casual. One thing that's also disappointing is once you got a little bit further in the game, you find out, oh, you can have little competitions and fights with other treasure hunters. It sounds great. You versus their monsters. But you go into it, and it's basically you and your 3 monsters. So that's 4 people against 3 other monsters. What? Where is the other treasure hunter? They're sitting on the sideline watching. You either have to defeat all of them, or you can run around and pick up their flag, and that ends it. That kind of sucks, but yeah, whatever. This game really reminds me of one Dragon Quest game that I played a very long time ago. It was actually called Dragon Warrior Monsters. It's for the Game Boy. If you guys have not tried that out yet, I highly suggest you do. It has the same sort of game loop where you're going out on a randomized, this game doesn't have randomized, generated fields, but Dragon Warrior Monsters does. You go out to a biome, you fight monsters, sometimes they'll join you, they go in your team, and you're going to be swapping them out and doing that sort of stuff. I really like that game. So anyway, is this game worth playing? Is Dragon Quest Treasures worth playing? I would say, yeah, at the moment of its release, there is a lot of content. There is a lot to do, but I will admit it can get repetitive. Lots of the same things, but there's a lot of it. You're running out to a new biome, you're collecting monsters, you're getting lots of treasures, and then you're going to go home and you're going to be appraising it. So you're going to be switching out monsters. And I forgot to mention this, but every monster also has a certain ability on the field. So like a slime, you can jump on them to reach higher heights. You can use Drackies for a little bit of floating, and then there's a lot of cool stuff that way. So there's an even better reason to use different monsters. But yeah, even though I think it's good, it's just very repetitive. The big draw, as mentioned, comes from the constant loot, the exploration, the monster recruiting, the growing your base. So if you like that sort of game loop where it's like, go out, do your thing, come back, recoup, go out, do your thing, come back, recoup, then I think you're going to be liking this game. Is it worth $59.99? As a Dragon Quest fan, if you love Dragon Quest, I'd say, you know, you can do much worse with the $59.99 game. It's on the Switch. I would say, yeah, it's perfectly fine for $59.99. If you just want to go in as a casual fan, you know nothing about the series, will the gameplay mechanics be enough to justify that amount of money? I'd say probably not. Anyway, if you are looking for a sale, I think the best value for your buck here would be around $30. 100% $30 would be a perfect pickup if you want this game. But, you know, as a summary, you know, fun spin-off. Instead of the turn-based, it's real-time battles. It's very charming, you know, very welcoming, I would say. Lots to do, can get repetitive, combat's a little clunky, monster recruiting and exploration is the best part. So get it if you absolutely love the Dragon Quest universe and you just want another take on it. You'll definitely sink dozens of hours into this if you love doing all the side content, non-stop collecting and leveling. It's just, you know, that kind of game. You know, it's not bad. Jump into it if you're a fan of the series. And that's it. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, it helps a lot. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more videos. If you guys are interested, you can see my playthrough of Dragon Quest Treasures on my Let's Play channel called MabiVsGames 2 down below. Let me know what you guys think. Did you like the game? Did you not like the game? And maybe you want to sell people on it as well. Well, what's some other stuff you can say that will, you know, draw more people in? Because I had fun with it. I just, once again, think it can get repetitive for a lot of people if you are not into this sort of game loop. But as mentioned, there's at least a lot of variety and things to collect. So it'll keep you interested if you like it. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.